Hi Cancer, it's Romy. Welcome to my channel. This is your May 2021 soul story. So if you've got sun rising or your moon is in the sign, my readings are general. Hopefully these messages are just going to give you a little bit of support though as you work your way through the next few weeks. So into Taurus energy, illuminating that 11th house of community, networking. I'm helping you to redefine what your own hopes and dreams are at this moment. And actually we open up with the Knight of Pentacles, and I like this for you because there's something about your emotions being channeled into something really meaningful and tangible. It's grounding you into the goodness of Taurus energy. And you can see the horse here created in leaves from the tree, and even the skirt that she's wearing is this beautiful bloom of flowers. And just a reminder that, you know, we have to tend and take care, or this aspect of soul tending, of looking after our own garden, of making sure that we're watering and breathing life and giving sunlight into the things that matter to us. And I think that's going to be really apparent for you as you make your way through the first part of the month. Now, Mercury and Venus are moving into Gemini on the 3rd and then the 8th. And, you know, in this vibe, we have almost a flood of information making its way to us. And because we're approaching eclipse season towards the end of the month, some of that information could be kind of wild. It might be a little bit chaotic. So what I like is that you're actually emerging into the month, Cancer, as having quite a steady, balanced outlook, which means that I don't think your feathers are going to get too ruffled. I think that even when there are things that come in that feel quite surprising, feel a bit shocking, feel like they are giving some need for flexibility, if you like, I think that you're ready to kind of have that dance with destiny right now. I think that you're like, okay, like I'm grounded enough, I'm secure enough in where I stand and what I'm wanting to achieve and what I'm looking for through this month, that even though there's some chaos moving around me, I'm not going to lose focus. And I think that that's going to really put you in a good situation if you can try and maintain that as you start to make your way through the month. Now, gorgeous new moon coming in Taurus on the 11th. It's sweet conversation with Pluto, planet of transformation, and with Neptune. So it's going to give some really nice, meaningful charge to the things that you are focused upon. King of Cups coming in here, maybe a water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And in some ways, I think it's also representative of the voyage that you're taking yourself. You know, you are the captain of your own ship, literally holding your ship here. And I think that there are individuals who are on your journey with you, but at the same time, there's an understanding that through May, the choices and decisions need to come from you. You're in a month where you're learning, you're practicing, you're recognizing, you're responding in new ways. And I think that it's down to you to sort of figure out what the direction that you need to take following that understanding. I think there's going to be some really profound moments that come through for you. And I think that you also seem to be working your way towards what the King of Cups represents. Now, it may be a person, perhaps you're putting the work in to try to impress or to try to get closer. What I will say is, with all of that emphasis around the 11th house, be aware that lots of doors will open for you. People will come in to support you, to introduce you to people, and there might be some really nice fated synchronistic opportunities that could be quite significant. What I want you to remember is that the best thing that you have to offer this month right now, Cancer, is yourself. It's yourself. And if we can remember when we're setting those intentions, especially around the new moon, that, you know, the universe is responding to those intentions. It's not responding to what people think about you or what people have to say about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And just make sure that you keep that really clear in your mind, because I think it's going to help you to come into a form of acceptance about some of the changes and some of the things that you're going to be navigating through the course of the month. Now, it is going to be a much more social time. But like I said, I feel like you're going to be redefining a lot of relationships, maybe even putting things a little bit more on your terms, to bring in a better balance, to bring in a better harmony, to allow yourself a clearer distinction of work time, play time, and then maybe just a little bit more of you time. I mean, you know, it's a thing that we often talk about with Cancer is sort of setting those boundaries in place. And I think it's really important because there's a lot that you want to achieve. And when we're moving through a month that there is quite a lot of chaotic energy coming to the forefront. You know, Saturn's going to move retrograde on the 23rd. Mercury moves retrograde on the 29th in Gemini. So it has an extended period from the 3rd of May right through to the 22nd of June, which is fantastic by way of the way we are expressing ourselves and how conversations can start to lead us to new opportunities. But remember, with the retrograde, there's a need to go inwards and for that reflective moment to perhaps redefine some things on our terms, okay? I think that there's good news that's coming in and we want you to celebrate it in any way that helps you to feel good. Now that might mean that you choose to hold back some of that news and you just enjoy it for yourself for a few days, or perhaps that you have a really select circle before you're ready to kind of announce it to the world. You might feel that your relationships with different social media or different ways of connecting with people are going through a huge overhaul and transition at the moment. And remember, the eclipse that we have at the end of the month in the 26th, Sagittarius lunar eclipse, is igniting that 6th house for you of service, of how you take care of yourself and how you want to show up. Now, it's the third in the chapter of this Gemini Sagittarius eclipse. So link back to the 5th of June last year and also the 14th of December to see what this kind of final message is and kind of how you're going to be wrapping something up or allowing a sense of closure to come in this time. And just a reminder, the last time that we had the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse cycle was March 2011 through August 2012. So it's not to say you're going through exactly the same things, but just think about some of the themes and the ways in which it may have changed you or reorientated the course of your life in certain ways, and you might get some additional insight as to what you're dealing with right now. Now, Jupiter is moving into the sign of Pisces on the 13th of May. Loves to be in the energy of this sign, and of course a fellow water speaking your language. So there's going to be some nice little gifts and blessings that can arrive in this way, and the activation of that into your 9th house is really sweet. So look out for some good news to come in around that new moon and when Jupiter stations into Pisces. The Hierophant is here, I think, reminding us that we have a duty, we almost have a sense of responsibility to now share the wisdom of the journey, to allow ourselves to evolve and to educate others when we come to a new awareness or a new understanding, either within ourselves or what we are observing. Now, it's not down to you to decide or to understand how people will receive that, Cancer. So I feel like as long as you're just speaking your truth and you're coming from that point of newfound awareness, I think that you're going to be in a strong position to be able to shed a lot of light, share a lot of wisdom and knowledge. And I think for many of you that's going to be exceptionally advantageous, again, by way of networking, by way of progression in your career and anything that you're doing in business, but also when you're trying to move away from drama-fueled situations that might be surrounding you in friendships or family situations. You know, sometimes with these eclipses, we're the ones that are right in the center of the storm dealing with it. Sometimes we're on the outside looking in and watching others go through this profound sense of, trajectory shift in their own experience. And so, you have a lot that you can share and that you can help to support with others. I think there is a newfound level of commitment here with this nice earth energy coming through, and I think the commitment should be first and foremost to yourself and also to reorientating yourself towards the things that are lighting you up and sustaining and nurturing and nourishing you. It's really, really important. Now, Mars is still in your sign at the moment, and that cardinal energy is bringing in some really nice, ambitious focused, decisive outlooks for you. Yes, it might occasionally bring increased levels of conflict, frustration, or agitation with others. So it's a little bit of a one to watch, but at the same time, it can really support you when these planets are working with you in your sign, helping to progress, helping you to evolve, to transform. Now, it might mean that you're also looking to, with this Hierophant energy coming in, take on board some new learning. There might be something you want to upskill yourself in, taking a new course, looking to sign up to, or go back to something. Remember, when we come into retrograde season, there's a need to want to go back over the details of something, because perhaps they still have a valuable asset that we can draw from, or we want to just remind ourselves if we're maybe going back into work or back into an environment, and we just need to kind of have that moment of like refreshing ourselves with something. But remember, this is also a time when you should also be making those bold moves and decisions and choices about what you want to break free and really move away from. And you know, these eclipse energies always bring about the opportunities for some really quite profound endings and closure. You know, it's like a karmic cleanup, if you like. And with that, there may be for some of you those realizations of where we need to come to terms with something that isn't working, or that has caused us more than enough pain, more than enough distress, more than enough upset. The Three of Swords is exceptionally clarifying, but yes, of course, it can be also exceptionally challenging, because it really doesn't let us run away from the pain. It wants us to really acknowledge it and to feel into it. But it's very directed here. You can see the 3 arrows right into the heart, and it's just like this is one specific area that we need to deal with, and once we have, then there's a beautiful sense of release that can come from that. Now, it may be that there are three people, 3 things that are sort of involved in this situation that I feel you might come into contact or bump up against a little bit of an upset. What I want to say is it's important that what you take from this experience, what you take from it is that your journey, your awareness of yourself, your choice in terms of what you're learning, you're practicing, you're recognizing, remember how you choose to emotionally respond, is really what this is about. This is the recognition of where the growth is happening. So just be careful that you're not moving into other people's energy when this situation perhaps arises for you. Now, for some of you, you may have already been dealing with this, and it's the lingering wound or heartache situation. For others, it might not come to pass yet, but you can feel it bubbling away, and maybe the eclipse is about to bring something right up to the center. Often eclipse energies will bring about the breaking down, the breaking up, the breaking open. That's kind of the vibe that comes with them. But just be mindful that you are not in someone else's victim energy or in someone else's emotional response, because what you might find when you realize what isn't yours, I have this feeling, Cancer, that actually you're going to be a lot more balanced, a lot more grounded, and a lot more in a sense of spiritual stillness and peace than what you expect. And I know that might sound a little strange if something at the moment still feels quite raw, but I would just invite you to really reflect on whose perspective you're actually taking on when you think about this, just to help with the healing. Now, of course, when we come into Gemini season, it's that 12th house energy for you, isn't it? And it does light up a lot of fears for you, but at the same time, that allows for a lot of breakthroughs. It's really pulling things up from your subconscious to allow release and healing to take place. And you know, what comes from that is a level of discernment that you can't buy. You know, this is something that's earned. It's something that's earned by way of your experience. Now, your King of Swords coming in with your 3 of Swords may well suggest that this is the, you know, the root of what's going on here. Yes, maybe it is reflective of a person, could be an air energy, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, or perhaps just a situation that you feel is hopeless or you feel like you can't navigate your way around at the moment. What I will say though is that, again, when I look back to the journeying that I've got going on with the Knight of Pentacles that says keep going, keep moving forward, and this beautiful voyage that you're taking with the King of Cups, there's something about being able to navigate around, and perhaps the journey that you take might end up being a little longer than you initially anticipated, Cancer. But mark my words, you're still going to get there, because you're still moving directly to something to celebrate, to something that is foundationally supportive and progressive and will help you to advance and actually bring about something that you're seeking. So don't get too bound up or tangled up in situations that you feel are going to not allow you to achieve those hopes and dreams that might be really activated very powerfully. You know, it's like all of a sudden in May, you know you've wanted something, but you want it with a level of intensity in the next few weeks that kind of takes your breath away at times. Four of Pentacles, even though the gate may feel like it's closed at the moment, you can still have access, you can still speak, you can still converse, you can still communicate. So for me, this is not a no. This is about, yes, we might have a little bit more that we need to achieve in order to make something happen. And even if this is coming in on an emotional level for some of you, you know, if you're finding that someone is holding back or being a little bit withdrawn, again, I don't feel that they've disappeared. They're still facing you. You know, their body language here is perhaps one that's waiting for you to make a move, waiting for you to say something. Now, this might be reversed for you as well, Cancer. You might be the one who stood behind the gate here, putting a little bit of a protective barrier in place. But again, just making sure that you're still eyes wide open, facing situations. And maybe it is even if someone or something has caused some sort of upset or challenge to you, that you're now a little bit more cautious. But at the same time, I really love that we've got these fours coming through for you, because for me, it's about the way in which you are taking charge and putting this new foundation to really support yourself and your pathway moving forward. And I think that's going to be exceptionally gratifying for you. And I think it's going to help you to make better decisions. You know, when we're in Taurus season, it's all about how we use resources and our relationship to the material, you know, as it's ruled with that second house. And I think you are going to be looking to see where, you know, some of the money stories that you've had previously have impacted you quite considerably on choices and decisions, and maybe even where other people have been involved in that. You know, you felt held back, or that you somehow had to compromise in different ways. And now we have this fresh clarity, Ace of Swords. Now, beneath the three here, even though we're going into retrograde season, which for, you know, many of us can bring that sort of clouded vision, you're actually getting a really sharp sense of knowing exactly what needs to be done, hearing everything that you need to hear, and having the opportunity to unlock something when you listen. I will say to you, there is a need for you through the course of this month, Cancer, to really listen to what people are saying. It may be that, you know, toward the end of the month, when we're into shadow period for Mercury retrograde, that it is going to be a case of having to read between the lines and go into the kind of subliminal subtext of things, but you're going to be able to feel your way through, and that is going to get to the heart of the matter for you. I definitely think that this is a month where you can get to the heart of something, and that's going to be what sets you free. That's what's going to be given to you to help you with this voyage of discovery that you're on, and to give you the permission in some ways to perhaps release, let go, or to put yourself first, even if it's temporarily, just to not be held back and just allow more of a sense of balance to return into things. I have a sense that there's a little bit of a surprise by people around you with what you choose to do or what you choose to say in relation to something. I think they won't really understand where it's come from, but when we see this absolute bounty of butterflies that are emerging from this cup, it's very clear that what's been going on beneath the surface for you, this deep, profound sense of metamorphosis, the way that you've really started to appreciate and value and take care of yourself, is now being set free. And so it might be that other people are a little bit surprised by some of the changes that are happening for Cancer through the month of May. But it, again, isn't your problem, and it isn't your responsibility to have to go back and to try to justify or demonstrate all of the ways that you've changed and why and what brought you to that point. What's important is that you just keep following your truth, and that you actually allow yourself to change and to be set free here. It really matters. I love the fact that she's also kind of almost sharing parts of herself here. You know, she's allowing that beautiful journey that she's been on to, you know, be sent out, and almost like these butterflies feel like messengers of hope. So I think there's a really beautiful selfless act that you're going to be doing in the next few weeks, whereby you are helping others directly because of what you've been through, and however that translates, I think it's going to be really important. I love that we have these two aces coming in together, because they are bringing this freshness and this opportunity to begin a new chapter. But of course, inevitably with new chapters, there has to be endings and surrender and release. And that's not always easy. And so again, that's perhaps where you have some of this more tricky, challenging energy that we need to navigate. But you know what I even like is that your butterflies here are actually permeating into the energy of the King of Swords here. So even if this is someone or something that feels very blocking, it feels very clinical, very cold, it's almost like you're just showering it with love, you're showering it with good energy, and you're going to be able to soften, you're going to be able to transmute, you're going to be able to switch the volume on whatever this is, so that it works better for you. But also I just think that it's almost like a good act of service that you're doing for the collective energy at the moment as well, for where there might be some trickier energies that are coming to the surface. So let's take a look and see how these flower medicine cards want to reflect your reading. Okay, you have the Lotus and enlightenment. Beautiful. And I really think that, again, just what we've talked about with this Ace of Cups, it is the journey that you've been on, the recognition that you're about to set off on a new voyage, but it's very different. It's very different. You're going to be dealing with different themes, and there's an awareness that perhaps that's going to mean that you have to draw towards you different energies, different teachings and learnings, and preparing, readying yourself. But remember what we said, there's something about you being able to channel your emotions into things that will be very tangible and very meaningful for you. And I think that even the act of doing that, even when we at times feel like that Knight of Pentacles has an aspect of just the mundane, the kind of things are not changing. Actually, when you look back at what's going to transpire through the month of May, I think you're going to appreciate that there is a radical and rapid up-leveling that's taking place in your life that is leading to a beautiful awareness and sense of enlightenment about how you feel about yourself and your journey. Okay, so these are the Priestess Light Oracle cards. Okay, you have Divine Feminine, Magnetic, Receptive Power. I mean, of course, as Cancer, you are the archetype Mother Energy. And I think this is just a reminder of the balance that we need to bring in. We talked about these 4 energies coming through and giving us that solid foundation with which to tell us where we should be directing our energy. And you can see these 2 beautiful streams of light that she's casting down here, and there's just this immense sense of grounded but also powerful. Like even her body language here, it's just beautiful, and the hawk just landing on her palm here. There's wisdom, there's knowing, there's absolute certainty, of where you're going and why. And even with the number 7, there's this beautiful spiritual awareness about what's happening on your path right now. You're in a very powerful manifesting time, Cancer, and we want you to use that and to harness that, especially around that mid-month part of May. But make sure you're also putting yourself in a place where you can start to receive the rewards of a lot of what you've been investing in, and you do need to take time to do that. And maybe that's also about making sure that you address and clear out, you know, some of the more painful situations that have been draining your energies or just holding you back or making you feel less than worthy or less than ready for what comes next. So let's take a look at the astrology cards, see what's coming through. South Node, destined to release. So we have the Sagittarius full moon lunar eclipse on the 26th of May, which is the South Node. So something really important about that. Now this almost looks like a dragon or even a fish. It's kind of like there's wings here going on, but you know, this is a beautiful expanse of water with the mountains here. And I think that there is an awareness that in order to get to where you want to go, there is a further clearing out or a further surrendering and an acknowledgement about something that's changed, that's no longer working. And sometimes that can come about quite surprisingly when we come into eclipse season. And it can almost feel a bit fickle because there is a desire to want to keep hold of everything. And yet you may find yourself in a situation where you're kind of having to make fast decisions that actually could feel quite, how shall I put it, quite harsh to others, you know, like all of a sudden you've cut something out or you've closed something down or you've moved something away or you've ended something. But I feel it's just because there is this profound inner sense of awareness that there's somewhere that you need to go, there's somewhere you need to be, there's something that you need to do, and you have to kind of honour that. So Cancer, this is a general reading for May. I hope that it serves to give you a little bit of extra insight. If you want to join me for the extended version, we talk for another 20 minutes or so. You can find the links for that in the description box in the comment section underneath. I'd invite you right now just to think about a question that you have that might not have come up in the main general reading. And we will pull a couple of cards for that. Okay, so I'm just going to clarify this main spread now, just beginning with the Knight of Pentacles. We have another Ace of Cups coming in here. Of course, there might be a earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, that there is also some relationship stuff that's going on right now. We've got the energy of the Queen of Cups here. So some high emotions, but I also feel it's about the emotional passion towards what you're doing here as well. Another Knight of Coins coming in here. Steady progress, I like that for you. King of Coins. Seven of Cups here. Knight of Cups. You've got a lot of knights coming through, lots of messengers. Like we said, there is going to be a flood of information coming in. It's going to be up to you to decipher what is important. Chariot. Look at all this movement forward. This, of course, is your card, Cancer. Ten of Pentacles with the Hierophant. Maybe some discussions for some of you in and around what's going on within the family dynamic, marriages especially, formal agreements and partnerships. Four of Cups, Knight of Swords. Let's have a look at this 3. So we've got a 7 of Pentacles here, the Moon. If you find that you're reaching for something and it's just, it feels out of reach, there's going to be a moment where I feel like you finally come to terms with something, let something go. Empress and the 3 of Wands, 10 of Swords, yeah. Yeah, this King of Swords is a little bit of a tricky character or situation. We've got Five of Wands coming in here. Really like their energy. Feels very demanding. Very, very demanding. Ace of Swords. Okay, Two of Cups. Got all these aces coming in here. Nice. Queen of Coins. I like this for you. Okay, Cancer, I will leave it there. If you'd like to join me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this. Otherwise, I wish you beautiful blessings for this month of May, and I'm going to catch up with you again in June. All the best. Bye for now.